like a lack of social awareness almost, which is
Oh
ironic
yeah.
because
Oh, I
that's
think
what
I
kind of what he
think
does for a living.
Tim's definitely on some spectrum somewhere. When I was in New York, I would go to this Magic store. I never really played Magic. I had a few friends that played Magic. So every so often we'd play. And then I had a group of skateboard friends that we were all hanging out and someone mentioned Magic and someone else was like, "Oh yeah, I play Magic." And then like we all kind of looked at each other. They're like, "Do we all play Magic the Gathering?" And like have never like this never happened. Like we never actually talked about it. And it's like it turned out like a group of us that all hung out all the time that were part of the skate scene played Magic, but like never with each other because we didn't know that we played. And then like it we basically a Magic group was born, right? So I started playing Magic with these guys and I don't know, a couple months go by and I found a couple different Magic stores that I liked, and I was in this Magic store in Brooklyn, or I was skating by this Magic store, which so Bustin' Boards was on the block, right? So here's this block right here. Here's where
Hmm.
Bustin' was. If you go down like 6 stores, there's the Magic shop. So like I was at this Magic shop often, right? Because I actually worked at the Bustin' shop when I rode for Bustin'. I actually was the one who painted the boards. Like I hand painted, fuck, I don't even know, probably like 1,000 Bustin' boards. And you might actually, if you got a Bustin' board, I signed it myself, so you might actually have my signature. Um, so I went in one day, and they also did D&D nights, and it was a D&D night, and I was like, oh, no Magic, huh? And I heard someone, "Oh, you play Magic?" And I look over and there's Tim. Tim was walked in to like get Magic cards or whatever, and it turns out he plays Magic. And I was like, "Yeah, there's no Magic going on." And he's like, "Yeah, that's what they told me." And like we talked about Magic for a little bit. And I didn't know who he was, right? And I was going to play Magic with that group of skateboarding friends later on. We were playing Commander. And I was like, "You got a commander deck?" Like, and I think he said, I don't remember what he said, yes or no, whatever. But we all had like multiples. I was like, "Yeah, if you want to come play, come over and play later. We're going to meet right now." And he's like, "All right, dope." And he ended up going to play. And the next day, he got an apartment next door to where I was at, where we went and played. Was kind of weird actually, like so quick. Like he was looking for an apartment, I guess, and ended up was just like, "Oh yeah, this is cool. Like you guys are cool. I'll just get the apartment right here." And then like
Yeah.
he was like our neighbor, like straight up. Like the next day, he was like our neighbor.
Is
And
that, I mean, that was that a little unsettling looking back on it? Like it seems like what was he doing prior to that? Where was he living prior to that? To the point to where he's just
I
like,
don't
well, I'm
know.
gonna.
I don't know. I guess he had just got back into town or something. This was this was right at the time that he was still at Vice, but, like, I think he was about to leave Vice, and go to what the fuck was that company? I don't remember what company gave him this crazy contract, but, like, it was in Miami. Anybody know in chat? It doesn't matter, whatever. He was still at Vice, but leaving Vice, and I think he was coming back to New York for something to meet with somebody and needed an apartment and just ended up getting an apartment like right at my neighbor, like basically the same building, but it was like 3 buildings in a row. So yeah, that was odd, I guess, and that's how I met Tim.
Okay. So you guys form this relationship through magic and playing cards, and you're also skateboarding together, I would imagine. So you guys have a pretty good bond, I would imagine. You guys have a lot of similarities, things you
Yeah,
like.
Tim's cool. Tim's funny. There's side of Tim's that I really miss. Like I miss his friendship. There's no denying that. Um, I don't miss that he's a absolutely sore loser that made me hate Magic the Gathering. He enjoyed playing it when he played it, but when he was winning, but when he was losing, he's a terrible terrible loser, which ruins games, not just Magic, just games in general. You're playing against someone who sucks at losing. Yeah.
Let's go back to the Wikitia article about
Oh
you.
goodness. All
Okay,
right. Sure.
this is the final time we'll go back to this as we have it because look, it seems like it's been pretty accurate so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, I guess it's
Yeah,
pretty close.
pretty good, which is
Sure.
also quite unsettling that everybody knows this about you.
Yeah, I guess so. Huh.
It says in 2016, Crigler and I guess your wife settled near Miami, Florida, to work with Tim Pool on his YouTube
Right.
channel.
Well, not on his YouTube channel actually. That's not correct. Cuz so the place fuck I can't believe forgot the name of this company. Uh so he got a job and a huge bonus and like got went down to Miami to work at this place, this company. I'm so annoyed that I can't think of it because
Mhm.
I was gonna work for him also. And so my wife and I, well, she wasn't my wife at the time, but um, she obviously became my wife, and so we moved down there because he wanted to do a show with me, and basically Tim Cast IRL, but 5 years prior, or like 4 years prior. And, we moved down there and I actually met with them all, met with the CEO, and like me and Tim, and we were talking about like what we wanted to do. Basically, Tim Cast IRL. Um, and they were like, "Oh, this sounds fantastic. Like, we'll get you guys a studio, whatever." Cause like Tim didn't he was working for them. Wasn't solo, right? His YouTube, he had a YouTube, but like he was making content for them. And so that what the show was actually going to be on this on their site.
Fusion.
Fusion, thank you. That's what it was. Yes.
So, well, hold on. So,
Gosh.
so she pitched this idea. I guess
Yeah.
you both pitched this idea, or he pitched. You was
Yeah,
like the.
I went with him. Well, he pitched to me and he was like they want me to do stuff.
Mhm.
So like let's do the show. And I'm like, "All right." So I came down to Miami. I got a bed he gave me the master bedroom with so me and my girl cuz like he was single. So me and we all lived in this freaking farmhouse. It was like this it was in the middle of farmland. Um and it was a pretty cool house. It was massive. Um and it never panned out, right? But me and Tim, we skated a lot. There was a basketball court in the backyard that we never used for basketball. We just skateboarded. Like he does a lot of flat. He's really good at skateboarding. Like Tim, I don't know if you guys know, Tim's a freaking beast of a skateboarder. Like he can do some crazy tricks. Um, so he could probably be sponsored, honestly. But yeah, obviously he has no need. But he made me a better skater, and we compete. We were good competitors. Like skateboarding, it's about yourself. But if you have someone else who's pushing you, you actually get much better, much faster. So him and I would like push each other to get better at skating. And I was he started going to the parks, and he was like, "Come on, let's go skate this park." And I'm like, "All right." So we were skating this park, and that's when I broke my tailbone. So I actually,
Tailbone, your balls, bullets.
yeah,
What a
I'll tell
medical
you what,
history.
I would rather split my nutsack again than break my tailbone. The tailbone was so much worse than splitting my nutsack open. I'm not joking. It was horrible, dude. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't shit. I couldn't like I mean I could, but it was like insanely painful to do pretty much anything. Moving at all was horrible, dude.
Hmm.
And a tailbone, you really can't do much. You can't like cast anything. You just have to let it heal. And oh man, it sucked. And but that was like another blow to like me wanting to be a skateboarder. Like I just was like, dude, I don't what am I doing, man? I'm miserable. I was in my early 30s. I think I was like 33 at the time. And dude, it sucked so much. And that was really the last time I got aggressive in skateboarding. I mean, when I was in Maryland or even Jersey when I was living with Tim, like we would skate, but I wouldn't go ham. I would just enjoy. I would like ride the ramp and do the things that I was comfortable doing and just enjoy the skating aspect. Although Tim did push me and I figured out how to tray flip thanks to Tim. Like he's got a good way of he's very competitive, but he likes to also be the best. Um but if you're not affected by that, it's whatever, you know. So like I enjoyed the push from him. But anyway, so we're in Miami,
Right.
and that shit fell through. Fusion didn't
Why?
do anything.
Yeah, why? What, like it seems like it's pretty basic. The
Well,
idea of
I'll
like,
tell you why. I
yeah,
think all right, I think Fusion was having issues and it wasn't going as big as they wanted it to go. They wanted to compete with Vice. That's I think why they grabbed Tim because Tim was working for Vice. Uh, I don't know if he thinks that he's got like someone says like he started Vice or some shit or like I don't really know and I don't really care. Like it's not really anything I care to look into, but I think that's what Fusion was trying to do. They were trying to compete with Vice and it like didn't work. I went to their like I've been to the studios Fusion or well I don't know if Fusion's still a thing, but like it was empty. The studios there, it was just like it felt like a front almost. And it was actually a cross between like Telemundo and something else, or it was
Disney,
like
ABC. Yeah.
Disney, ABC, and
Mhm.
Telemundo. Is that it? Or
Yep.
some sort of
Univision.
yeah, Univision. That's it.
Mhm.
Right. So like they were trying to create something and it didn't work. And actually, there's this famous rant from Tim Cust IRL where he's talking about the golden handcuffs
Right.
and he had these like he wasn't allowed to go do what he wanted to do. Like we couldn't actually do the show we wanted to do anyway because they wouldn't have let us. Right? So I think Tim kind of just gave up on Fusion and let his contract run up and like stop working for them basically and kind of screwed me over because I was visiting Sweden and he like moved out of the house and turned the power off. So like I got back and he had left. I didn't even know. I just got back from Sweden and like he was like, oh yeah, I moved. And by the way, the power's off. And now this is Miami in fucking August. So it's like 115 degrees, muggy in this house. Like he sold some of my shit to like he had some random guy come in like he didn't want to bring anything with him so he just brought in some dude and he was like oh I just didn't have him go in your room and I'm like yeah but like the rug the kitchen stuff like I there's still a bunch of shit that just you sold that were mine and he was like oh my bad and I was like dude
So
just
this
like
is
zero respect it was really annoying.
so this is in 2016. Fusion goes up in flames, kind of, right? He departs. He says,
That sounds about right, yeah, something like that,
but
2016.
it seems like that just from a human to human aspect, that just seems like something you probably like the idea of selling someone else's stuff without them knowing.
Yeah.
It seems like something just like a lack of social awareness almost, which is
Oh,
ironic
yeah.
because
Oh,
that's what
I
kind of what he
think
does for a living.
Tim's definitely on some spectrum somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand some of the things that he does, and I understand very much other things that he does. The more I've gotten to know who he is as a person. So,
Well, they say about people, on the spectrum, right? They're extremely focused. They're laser focused on certain goals, certain
oh yeah,
activities, and some of the social,
facts.
right, right.